Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here, and we got a list of 12 properties, some real badass stuff at the end. So we'll definitely sorry if I'm using a bad word, but it is nice. There's a beautiful home at the end. 100 Millside starts us off. It's Unit 302. Great choice building for we'll say the more mature crowd, the 50 plus. That's typically the population here. Nice, well-maintained building. We don't see a lot of buildings built in this generation that have held up as well as this one. A lot of pride, a lot of care. The suite itself is mostly original. It is a great floor plan. But you're gonna have to do some work. So there was one at 284.9 that was just kind of hanging around for a while. It was also a 2-bedroom, and it had more upgrades than this one, and it just recently got an offer on it. So maybe less competition in the building is going to help. But I do know that that suite was actually, it looked like it was 5,000 more in value compared to this one. Let's see what happens. So at one point, the even the original stuff was sort of going for a bit higher, but they fell down a little bit. So Deverell 318, this is a 1357 square foot home. No backyard, just a balcony, and you've got a small front yard. This home, so a really nice one sold in the fall for the high 330s. We've seen them sell, I think, on the low point at 320 or 325. So it's a bank sale, and so we know the issues with bank sales is they're sometimes horrible to communicate with. You're also taking the property as is, where is. There's no warranties about anything. And the last thing, just as a brief summary about bank sales, is the one thing that you need to know is if the owner comes up with the money, then the day before closing, you can actually be out of a house. So they have the right to rescind the agreement at any point. So just stuff you have to deal with. This one looks like a really good deal. There's some bank sales that aren't. This one I think could be, depending on the condition of the inside. So let's see what happens there. Duncan Lane is at 379, and I'm not a big fan of the Duncan Lane stuff. It faces a train track, and I mean, I've had clients that lost a dog on those train tracks. So I suppose I have an emotional attachment to people not buying really close to there. But it's a nice looking home. It's got a nicely landscaped yard. I think they've done the right finishes inside. I like that little stonework by the fireplace, and it's a good price point for a townhouse too, especially this size. So overall, I'm going to give this one 2 thumbs up for sure. Starting a little sniffly today. 1117 Riddell Crescent, 399. It's a crop site, so it's 1380 square feet, and it's got a finished basement. You can see the crown moldings here. The dining room, they set it up well. Not many people put a table here because it's not really a huge space to work with. And most people figure the dining room is good enough. So I hope that this doesn't actually clutter up the space and make it look a little too tight. You can see it is pretty close to the sliding door window there. Beyond that, I saw this and I went, that's kind of interesting. It looks like a sauna, and you could say that somebody went a little bit overboard in sort of the hardwood work. Now, there's also a right angle here, so I don't know if that's going to appeal to a lot of buyers. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Let me know. Send me an email. I think it's a little out of left field. I mean, it's just who knows? I mean, it might be something that people love. The one shot that I find is not in those in those 9 photos is actually the finished basement. So it does have a finished basement, adds value. There is a virtual tour link here, and it looks like it's no neighbors behind the property. So it might be another value-added option. So Clark Boulevard, great deal here at 445. It's a Powell model. It's 1,900 square feet. It looks like it's a laminate floor, and the kitchen looks like it has some decent upgrades. It looks like if you want to do a higher fridge, you've certainly got the allowance for that. And rounded the radial archway. You've got 3 bedrooms on this one, which means the laundry's probably upstairs, glass shower, and so on. There's another one on Clark that's the same model. It doesn't have the all siding. It's got some brick to it, but this one is definitely a hot competitor, especially being under 450 is a completely different market than over 450, and I think these guys are going to do really, really well. 9-foot ceilings on the main floor makes a big difference. So Scott Boulevard, 1987 square foot semi for more than a detached home that's around the same size, a little bit smaller. I'd take the detached any day of the week. And I know this one's all brick and blah, 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 newer, all the rest of it. This one's on Scott, so it's a busier street too. I would say it's in my eyes, it's busier than Clark, but they're both kind of busy. You do have granite countertops, hardwood floors. There are justifications for this price. We have seen some of them sell for 30, for 40 in the past. So, maybe with some of the upgrades, they might do okay. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw this one sell for 440. Guelph line is 478.9. It's got a good setback from Guelph line. It looks like you've got some tree coverage here. You'll still hear the road, but it's not that bad, I don't think, at that distance. You've got a double garage. Looks like an above ground pool. And nothing on the inside of the home, even if it's original condition, less than 500,000, half an acre, right by a golf club. I think about an empty nester. I think about Papa going out to mow the lawns out here on his riding mower and going to play golf in the afternoon. This has a nice vibe to it. I think that this home really is in a good price point for people. And it would be a lot of fun for somebody who's at or near retirement. Now, Savaline is 609, 786. I think the presentation is probably not helping them at all. And even when you look at the description here, you can say, okay, it's a house for lease, but it's not for lease. It's for sale. It's for sale for over 600,000. So a little more effort might be a good thing there. Derry Road is 729. So they're all pretty much standard. They're like 3,000 square feet. There is functional basement space in these commercial units. So it's a commercial live work, about 800 square feet on the main floor. You go down the basement, probably about the same. And then you've got 2 levels above for the living areas. And they've staged this home. It actually looks really nice when you're inside. And there's the commercial space right there. We talked about this in the past, is that there's different financing rules with live work. You want to look at tax implications as well. So the commercial part may be subject to HST on a sale. Those are all things you want to check into before you look at these. They haven't really been selling very well. So that's the thing. I mean, it's a very niche audience that's going to appreciate these homes. And Wetlaw for 769. They had an offer on this one, and it looks like it just disappeared. But it's certainly priced at a point where I would expect them to get offers. 3,500 square feet. Beautiful home, one of my favorite layouts. It's what's the name of the model? I think a red cedar, and you've got this beautiful round turret in this home. It's outstanding. And then upstairs, what it is so that's the breakfast area, the main floor. Upstairs, it connects between the ensuite, the closet, and the master, and I find it lays out just beautifully. Huge fan of this one here. And it's been listed for longer than I would have ever expected. You check the virtual tour there too, but it's a great listing. I think the price point's there. It's a little trickier, like we've talked about, to sell over 600 in Milton now, but that's a really special property. And it's got I love the balcony. I love everything about it. So Pine View is basically 1.6 for 2 acres. And it looks like it's been well kept. The kitchen might be a little bit dated. I could see people at this price point saying, yeah, I'm probably going to have to do a new kitchen. But it's really hard to, even look at the views here. Outstanding stuff. It's really hard to, to get everything you want in this price point. People get very, very particular about very small things. But it's a great location, awesome stuff. So let's see. We basically are making a call on 9 pictures and maybe 400 characters in the description. Once you get past a certain point, usually over 1.2, 1.3 million, you really need to go check these homes out because they can appear completely different in person. And then we got a real treat here on Millboro. I think this one's been listed before, but it's 28,000 square feet, basically $6 million, 43 acres, and unbelievable home. Probably one of the best ones we've ever profiled on Milton Daily Homes. I would encourage you to check out the virtual tour, and that looks like a fun little lounge to bring the friends over to. So outstanding stuff, and I think there's 9 bedrooms or something like that. Lovely stuff. So here's the thing about this price point, though, is that if 100,000 people in Canada, I'm just making this number up, but if 100,000 people could afford a $1 million house, you'll find that by the time you get to 2 million, it might be 10,000, it might be 1/10 of that. And then at 3 million, it's maybe 1/10 of that. By the time you get to about 6 million, you're looking at, maybe 5 or 10 of those people out of 100,000 could actually squeeze for this kind of price point. So, even the taxes are $20,000, which is probably more than the majority of people in Milton actually pay for their mortgage payments. So, anyways, that's the list. A lot of fun. Have a great weekend. If you're coming to town, join us for a tour. Meet us at Starbucks and just reach out. And we'd love to help you out. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.